Get something on your screen. We're recording. And I am now going to introduce Sarah Elsdon, who is our Director of CareerAbility and also is a certified school psychologist. And
I can help.
Take it away, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Sarah. Great to meet everybody. And as Catherine said, I'm the Director of CareerAbility. I've been here at Chapel Haven for 4 years. I actually worked here at Chapel Haven when I was in college over 10 years ago in the recreation department and came back later in my career. So I feel like Chapel Haven does that to you. You know, it has a special place for everyone. I started with our CareerAbility department as a career development advisor, helping our individuals make career decisions and guide them through their journey. Moved into management and now the director. It's been incredible. It's a really incredible program, an amazing mission. And I hope today, you learn a lot about what we do. I'm going to talk about our model, and our mission, the different services that are available to students at Chapel Haven. We're going to talk about examples and success stories throughout, and then of course, learn how to get involved. And please keep your questions for the end. Catherine will monitor the chat. We're going to have some time at the end, hopefully, but I hope to answer a lot of your questions. So just thanks so much for your time. So like I said, CareerAbility is Chapel Haven's Career Development and Employment Services Division. So we were founded in 2017. So we're almost about 6 years old. And we were created really to bring meaningful employment to the people we serve. Feel like it was the missing link for quite some time at Chapel Haven, or the vocational services were more minimal. And if we know anything about meaningful employment, if you feel that you have a purpose and a meaningful job in life, it really improves your quality of life and contributes, of course, to your independent living. So it really aligns with the mission of Chapel Haven very well. And our model incorporates best practices and a person-centered approach. So we are always thinking about the individual first. We take a strengths-based approach, always thinking about what someone does well, helping them discover themselves and really find that meaningful job. And then when I say meaningful employment, we say that a lot. So I just wanted to expand a little bit about that. That's when we say that, I mean, like, it's referring to someone's, the employment has been predicated upon an individual's interests and their specific skills. It contributes to their quality of life. They're earning a competitive wage for their work. And they've been given both the opportunity and the choice to enter into that employment. Historically, people with disabilities maybe were only thought to be in certain industries or given a limited number of choices. So we're really, really trying to break those barriers and expand upon, choice and experience and exposure for our individuals. So since 2017, we've supported our adults in many ways, and these are just some statistics that we're extremely proud of. We've facilitated job placement to date in 15 out of the 16 different career clusters. So career clusters, industries, really just showing that, we're really the breadth and the scope of what we're doing. And we really try to follow the individual and their interests and their skills and where that is, and not kind of just consider a few industries. And then 100% of the people we work with have engaged in job skill development. So, at the very least, they're building extremely meaningful skills to help them, in the work world, but also personally. I feel like, practicing professional skills and social skills and different things helps you in all areas of your life. About 80% of the people that have been referred to us today have secured competitive jobs and inclusive work environments. Really strong number compared to the national average, but we're always looking to improve. And then retention is huge. You know, you always want to pay attention to a provider's retention numbers, meaning, you know, because that's really where you can see, are the matches strong? Is someone well matched to a job, and they can retain it for a long time? You know, it's a good fit for them. So 93% of the people we've placed in jobs have kept that job for 90 days, that crucial 3-month period, and 91% have retained beyond 1 year. So really strong numbers that we're constantly challenging ourselves to improve. This is from our website. You can look at this more. This just compares those numbers to the national average, which are from the Department of Labor. I probably don't need to tell you how underrepresented people with disabilities are in the workforce. And those who are in the workforce oftentimes are underemployed, meaning maybe they are doing work, you know, below their skill set or qualifications, or maybe they would like to work full time and they're only considered part time or per diem work, et cetera. So this is why we do what we do, and it's working. And I'm just extremely grateful that we've had the resources to start this program. So I'm going to get a little bit into how we do what we do. So 3 kind of key components to our services are, like I said, we take a person-centered approach. So it's something really empowering for our students, our individuals. You know, they drive it all. So we want to start helping them think about what they really prefer, like what they really like to do. What are their strengths? Present them with choices every step of the way. We do this in collaboration with their support team, their family, but the individuals at the table has the main seat at the table every step of the way in our services. We really focus on that. And then we establish a personal and career development plan with the students that we work with from the beginning. So we're really helping them map out these goals for themselves and these services that they're doing with us to reach their long-term goals of employment, career advancement, whatever it is. And then we have very comprehensive support, which you'll see. So any service that you're in, you have, there's this team approach. We're very lucky at Chapel Haven to have these wraparound services. So, you know, if you're in the REACH program, we're collaborating with your teachers, you know, and your maybe your therapist or your speech and language pathologist. No matter what program you're in with us, we're collaborating with everyone. And then internally, we also really make it a point to bring on a multidisciplinary team, you know, whether it's people with an education background, a business background, a human services background. So we have multiple perspectives. And then a big part of what we do too is always providing more opportunities for continuous growth. You're never kind of done, right? Growing with your career development. It can be endless. And then we do invest quite a bit of time and resources into formally training our staff. We've had the great privilege of being mentored by an organization called Job Path out of New York City. They specialize in customized employment. We've also been formally trained and have a certification in customized employment. And we also have professional memberships in an organization such as APSI, you know, just constantly pursuing professional development to learn best practices in the field. I will speak a little bit more about customized employment. It's a particular approach we take to employment, and we have a separate workshop on YouTube and on our website specifically for customized employment. So I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. And then this is some of our awesome staff. I just wanted to show you some pictures. So CareerAbility, we currently serve over 100 individuals across Chapel Haven's programs. So the residential programs like REACH and ASAT, our SAIL program, supported living. So we're very large. We're a very large department. We have about 22 staff right now, and we've experienced exponential growth over the last 5 years. And we really pride ourselves, you know, with the diversity that we've brought on, but we're all coming together for that shared mission. And what I've really found is like everyone brings something unique to the table, and it's hard to start a program, develop a program from scratch. And we're constantly developing and refining. And these people are super, super committed to, your child and this mission. So you can feel really good about that. I do every single day. Okay, so the only criteria for entering CareerAbility is that you have the desire to work. We truly believe that everyone can work if they want to. And we start talking about employment very early on. So if you're a current student or family here, you may know this already. If you're looking to engage with Chapel Haven, you'll learn that we start at admissions. So during the week visit, students interact with CareerAbility. So we complete a vocational interview at that point. The student engages in a job shadow experience. We do a file review, et cetera. And the point is to learn about the individual and make a preliminary recommendation. The career development advisor does this as to, how and when the student will begin working with us and maybe where they need to start in their career development. And then once a student begins at Chapel Haven, especially in a core residential program, there are these, time periods that we all meet and review progress, the 45 days, 6 months, 12 month, et cetera. And CareerAbility has a seat at that table from the beginning, and we call it a career management team. But this is where we're, okay, how's the transition going? How are they acclimating? What are their goals? And we're really refining proposed services, and we're developing that career plan that I mentioned. And we should start that at about 6 months, the first 6 months. Everyone is a little bit different, but typically we're doing that at the 6-month mark. And then we're setting goals and recommending services, which is different for everyone. It's based on someone's background, their work experience, their skills, timing. Every plan is individualized. And because everyone's different, this is just a guideline, but typically for new students, CareerAbility services don't start right away. Students typically take some time to acclimate to campus life and their program, and they may engage in career experiences in their program. We tend to get more involved in someone's second year, but that's not everyone. It's just a trend and something we've noticed over the years. And then this is, again, an example of maybe your typical career development trajectory. So, and these are the services that we offer. So this is the typical course that someone may take. Again, you could skip steps. You could start at Chapel Haven and go straight to employment services. You could stay at discovery. Everyone is different, but typically students start with discovery when they first come to Chapel Haven in their first year. And what discovery includes, and I'll go into it, is like volunteering, career exploration, classes, really anything career related that helps you explore different environments, learn about jobs, and really start to see yourself in different things, and start to refine an interest and an affinity towards a job or industry or something like that. And then in maybe year 2 or even year 3, if applicable, students tend to pursue one of the middle steps, work-based learning or career training, or career training. And we'll go into these in depth. So work-based learning is typically like a professional internship with classroom instruction. So you're really gaining much more specific industry experience, really honing a lot of professional skills. There's on and off site support. Career training, you're typically getting specific training in a specific industry. We particularly have 2 programs, retail sales and culinary arts, which also includes an extra classroom and offsite instruction, or an externship, we call it. And then most students pursue employment services at the top step here, typically once they've graduated from their residential program, but everyone is different. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but in a nutshell, we have very comprehensive employment services, everything you may need. Based on your level of support, we have group supported options, individual job, customized jobs. We do quite a bit to help develop opportunities and give you all the support you need to learn your job and maintain it. And then career advisement is provided throughout. Now I'm going to go into all of these. These are our awesome career development advisors, Sally, Ashley, and Taranay. And this has been core to our model since we got started. I was hired as our first career development advisor. Basically, this person leads your child, you, the student, through everything. You know, they're your advocate. They're there for you every step of the way. And really just helping you always stay focused on, all right, what's right for you? What are your goals? And they're the constant. Career advisement is included in every service we have. You'll get one right away as a full-time student, unless you opt out of our services. And if you're a community member, like a graduate or something, and you're not working with us yet and you want to, you can be referred. You could refer yourself. You could be referred by your family or your support coordinator. To give you a scope, currently a career advisor works with 30 to 40 individuals, but the level of attention to adjust depending on the service. So there may be periods of time where you're like working so closely with your career advisor. Then maybe say you've been in a job for a couple of years, it may be less than more like monthly check-ins. It's different at every kind of step of the way. So these are our different services that I'm going to go through. I'll try not to go through too fast, but we have a lot to cover. So I mentioned discovery, and discovery is more of a process about figuring yourself out, right? And focusing on your strengths and reflecting and really understanding where you thrive. Anything can really be counted as discovery. And discovery will start in Reach and ASAT, your residential program. You know, there are classes that relate to careers and jobs. There is volunteering or job shadow experiences. Even our day program, the community life program, does community service and some career exploration. It's more of that process. And, you know, you can foster, if you're a family member or a friend, you know, you can foster discovery of someone by, I don't know, you go on a trip and you pay attention to what jobs are at different places, or, you know, you really notice that someone loves being somewhere and you try to help them understand why that is. It's really just about understanding yourself. One of the main services we do for discovery is volunteering. So we have a pretty robust group volunteer program. And basically what this is we partner with local nonprofit organizations. I always tell everyone that, you know, volunteer, if you're going to volunteer for free, volunteer your time, make sure you're doing it for a nonprofit that depends on volunteers to exist. Don't give your time away for free unless you're in like a professional internship, which we'll get to. So these are small groups, typically like 2 to 5 students with 1 staff member, and we typically provide transportation. And, you know, we try to match volunteers to the opportunity based on what we're trying to learn about them, or what they're trying to explore, or their interests, the skills we know. Like if you're really good with the elderly, you know, we might connect you with the Milford Senior Center to do some lunch service. We are always building our volunteer program. These are just some current partnerships that we have. So Downtown Evening Soup Kitchen, we're at 2 Senior Center and Mary Home Assisted Living. We're at a nonprofit learning store called Reread Books. We're at the Beardsley Zoo, Friends of Edgewood Park, the JC Cafe, Head Start. And these are some pictures of some of our individuals volunteering. Group volunteer is typically included in tuition, full-time tuition. We can also apply someone's state funding through the Department of Developmental Services to group volunteer oftentimes. It's a great stepping stone, and we even have people do it later in life. Maybe they, are aging, but they're looking to add some meaning into their life, or whatever the goal is. Volunteering has been an incredible program, and we do develop an individual volunteer opportunities for people as well. I just highlighted the group option here because it is our most popular, but we can absolutely help you find your individual volunteer job. The next, step in that trajectory is work-based learning and career training. So like I said, this is a student starting to think about their career and working. They started to understand their preferences, right? And this is a great next step. It's like if you pursued school or any sort of training or college in your career, maybe you had to do an internship or something to gain more experience, right? And build your skills, same idea. So work-based learning is, it's a real world instruction. You're in a workplace. The partners that we have, the businesses, we really, really encourage that the interns are treated just like the other employees. The expectations are high. It's a very structured, goal-oriented program. And all the work sites we have for work-based learning, it's integrated, meaning, not like the group of our students are working alone in the building. We're immersed in the business, in the different departments or competitive jobs. You're amongst your peers and your non-disabled peers as well. And work-based learning, our work-based learning has 3 components. So we're aligning classroom instruction to the workplace. So there's always a professional development class with any of these services I'm going to talk to you about. And that's really because you want to reinforce what's happening on the job. We're teaching about different social skills or problem solving what's happening. You're unifying, academic, technical, and employability skills. There's just so much learning that happens, which I'll get into. And then there's essential support provided by our support staff, who we call work-based learning specialists. So essentially like job coaching that's happening on site. But then we also train our employer partners, the supervisors and mentors. So say you have an internship at Yale New Haven Hospital, you'll have a supervisor, but then they'll also identify a mentor for you in that department. That's not a Chapel Haven staff, it's more of a natural support. So that's really key to our model. And again, these are just student goals for work-based learning and training. So, it'll help you further explore different jobs and skill sets. You're going to learn much more specific skills because you're actually learning a job and an industry. We see that you build a lot of self-confidence and independence through this process, and you're preparing for employment. The reason to do work-based learning is to prepare for employment. You should be ready for employment when it's done. So we have a couple different services I want to share with you. So our most long-standing service is called PAVE, Partnership for Achievement Through Vocational Experience. It's existed before CareerAbility technically even existed. We've been at Yale New Haven Hospital for many years. So what it is, it was adapted from the national model called Project Search, and it's a 10-month internship. It follows essentially like a school year, and it's pretty, competitive as far as, the hours and things. It's typically 5 days a week, about 6 hours a day, including travel and lunch and breaks, and a classroom. And you're getting support throughout. So basically, a work-based learning specialist will take 3 or 4 students to one of our employer partners, which we'll talk about. And then you kind of divide into those students go to their departments, and the work-based learning specialist circulates. And then you're with your mentor in your department for your shift, and check-ins are happening, lots of communication, and then you're getting instruction offsite as well. And our current employer partners are Yale for this program are Yale New Haven Hospital, the Jewish Community Center of Greater New Haven, and Whalen Engineering. So we've actually had the partnership with Yale the longest, since 2012, so 11 years. This is our 11th year. Pretty incredible. Yale New Haven Hospital here in New Haven. And these are just some examples of departments that our students work in or have worked in. We evaluate these every summer with the businesses. So sometimes they do adjust year to year depending on the needs of that employer. But, we've been in material services, lab specimen processing, food service, the volunteer service office, the gift shop, the pharmacy. So you see Samia and Anna here pictured here. So very unique jobs and a lot of amazing experience there at Yale. Our second employer partner for PAVE is Whalen Engineering in Chester, Connecticut. So they manufacture the light bars and emergency warning lights for ambulances and fire trucks. They also do some stuff for race cars. And our partnership began with them in 2018. They've actually, I'm sorry, let me go back to Yale really quick. Yale to date has hired one of our students. Okay. We're hoping for more. Whalen already has hired 4 of our students since the start of this partnership. So that's been pretty incredible. And these are some examples of departments that are at Whalen. You see Wyatt, Rafal, and Nick here. So they literally put together the light bars at the business, right, in this manufacturing facility. So there's final assembly, control systems, you're testing the light bars. Kits is like all the parts that come in the warehouse, and you bring the kits to be assembled warehouse. And then they have a very large food service cafeteria event space. We've had an intern in there as well. Really incredible partner Whalen is. And then the JCC of Greater New Haven, we've informally been working with them through individual internships since 2018, but our PAVE partnership with them started in 2021. And if you haven't been, it's a really large recreational social organization. It's kind of like a whole campus. There's a lot that's happening there. And they've actually hired 2 of our students since 2021. So these are some examples of departments at the JCC. You see Debbie, Mike, Avi, Matt, Seth here. So we have sports and recreation. Mike is a current staff. He's a fitness floor staff. Debbie's a current staff in member services, human resources, marketing, maintenance, and now the cafe that just opened. So PAVE is pretty incredible. It's one of our most popular services, particularly for full-time students in their second year. And we see tremendous growth in that program. Something I also wanted to mention about PAVE is that it does include professional development and community service. So the students have done some pretty amazing things in the past. They've done different initiatives, like you see here. And when I mean like they've organized and held a Down syndrome awareness walk. They've done activities for Autism Awareness Month, run food drives. They've run a voting campaign. They do a lot of professional development. So they do mock interviewing. They create professional portfolios. They learn, this is in the bottom corner, is Aman getting her professional photo taken for her portfolio. They learn social communication and coping skills that apply to the workplace. So it's so much more than even just the shift on site at in their department. It's really, really great. It helps you be a really strong, professional. Okay, moving on to career training. Our retail sales training program. So this is a formal partnership we have with CVS. We actually have a mock store on campus at Chapel Haven. You see in the upper corner, this is William in our mock store. There's literally products and codes and things to help teach our students what it's like to work in this type of retail setting. And then they do an externship in our local CVS that's literally right down the street from Chapel Haven. This is a 6-month program, typically 2 to 3 times a week, and it has a classroom component and that job training. And, this is a really good fit for someone if they, have an affinity for organizing things or customer service. Retail, there's so many transferable skills in retail. So it's been a popular program. We've been doing it for 3 years. We have our 3rd cohort doing it right now. And you also, as a student, get the opportunity to take the National Retail Federation certification exam, NRF. It's an industry credential. And it's been a great opportunity, even for people who maybe, don't historically, take exams, or their reading level is more beginner. We've found ways to modify it to at least make it a good learning experience. But we'll go with whatever is most individualized for the class and the students, but it's been a great program, and it pairs really nicely with our culinary arts program, the opportunities we have there, which I'll talk about next. And we're actually looking to kind of merge the two, or work as closely together as we can, because we feel there's a lot of opportunity for crossover. So we also have a culinary arts training program, which started in our on-campus program. So Chapel Haven has had an on-campus diner for many years, like I think almost 20 years. And we've more recently, obviously in the last 5 years, utilized this for work-based learning. So, it's right on campus. We actually have 2 now. So if someone shows any affinity for hospitality or food service or culinary, we're using what's here on campus. So, we've had students, obviously build skills with taking orders, preparing foods, all different kinds of foods, baking, cooking, portioning, packaging, delivering, and of course, cleaning and maintenance. And this is PJ on his first day in the Sail Cafe. He actually was hired as a Chapel Haven staff after a successful internship. And then these are also pictured on the left is John and Rich. So Rich is a long standing cafe employee. He's actually a supervisor, a graduate from Chapel Haven, and he was mentoring John, who was doing discovery, trying to figure out if he was interested in food service or not. And Rich just loved the opportunity to teach someone. And I just feel like it fosters such a nice culture of teaching and learning. And then on the right here, you have Lizzie, who earned her ServSafe certification. She's the current staff who started as a volunteer, and we helped her obtain that. And she built her food safety skills. So we're just really lucky to have that on campus. And then we're expanding the culinary arts training program literally right now as we speak, with the Cafe J that just opened at the JCC. And we really hope to, with this coming term, we hope to provide the retail sales training program graduates with an opportunity in the cafe to further their career development and further learn in a little bit different of an environment than a CVS. And so far, some of the job duties examples have been, literally barista, like learning how to make lattes, of course, customer service and cashiering, cleaning, inventory. So we're looking forward to the development there. That's been really exciting. I think it'll be a great opportunity for many people over the years. Okay, and then lastly, for work-based learning, we do one-on-one work-based learning or internships as well. So same kind of model as the others, but it's one-on-one. So maybe you're in a college program. Like we've worked with someone who was doing an automotive program at Gateway and needed an internship, and we helped find that for her and supported her in an internship. Or the individuals pictured here, these are all after COVID, when people were literally not volunteering or working or anything for like at least 2 years. And then they chose to do an internship, kind of coming back to get their feet wet again and get back to you and used to working before we found employment for them. So whatever the person's goals or what makes sense for them, sometimes we will develop an individual internship for students. So that covers work-based learning. So lastly, our services, one of our largest branches actually is employment services. So like I said, these are, all you need to do is want to work with CareerAbility, but we will recommend employment services for you when, you're ready to make finding employment a top priority. You all know, like when you're looking for a job, you need to be super invested. You need to be really, really ready and ready to put a lot of focus into it. And consider the timing in your life. I say this because a lot of the people we work with, like if they're trying to look for a job and they're also graduating their residential program and looking for an apartment or moving out for the first time, I don't know, like everything's kind of happening at once. It can be a lot. So we try to plan accordingly about the best time to engage in such a process. Like the job search can be kind of uncharted territory for people. It can be kind of uncertain, right? So we always try to make sure that we're supporting and recommending the right services for that person. Or maybe, okay, let's start a job search, but why don't you volunteer during that job search so you have some structure or something like that. And generally across all these services, like I said, if you have worked with us in the past and you've done a bunch of services, you may not need more discovery. We know what you need in a job, what you need, right? But if you do need some more discovery, we'll do some to really make sure we have your employment plan really clear. We know exactly what kind of job we're looking for. We do job development, and then we provide supports, job placement supports, which I'm going to talk about. Firstly, we have group supported employment. This is our longest standing service actually, before CareerAbility existed. And we usually recommend group supported employment for someone who has higher support needs. Maybe it could, because it's full-time support on the job and transportation is included. We can also apply someone's DDS budget to these services, their state budget. So this sometimes is a stepping stone for people, or maybe they're later in life and they need a higher level of support. Right now, some of our established group supported employment sites include the Groton submarine base in New London, Connecticut. We have 2 crews there. They've literally we've had that job site for over 15 years. We work at Autism Health and Fitness Center doing cleaning. We do landscaping with Westville Renaissance Alliance. Westville is the neighborhood right next to Chapel Haven, and we help with groundskeeping. Whalen Engineering, we do a group supported employment there. All the people that have gotten hired, mainly because of the transportation. It's not very accessible by public transportation. So we chose to make it a GSE site. And then actually all of Chapel Haven's cleaning and grounds crews are mostly provided by our alumni. So we do still have GSE. Here are some people. This is David at the Groton subbase in the cafeteria. And this is the AM janitorial crew cleaning in one of the buildings. We are taking a newer approach to GSC development. As you may notice, a lot of these are cleaning. Whalen is our newest GSC. We're really trying to move away from this crew work and only considering certain industries for GSC, but it does serve a purpose. It does help a lot of our adults, particularly our aging adults. So we do keep these services, but we are trying to refine them over time. Okay, then another service of our employment service, we're more of a liaison with this service. It's called Ken's Crew. So basically, they do what we do, supportive employment, but for Home Depot and other retail partners. It was actually founded by the founders of Home Depot. And we've been a partner with them since 2018. So basically what we do is we connect candidates to the Ken's Crew process. So maybe you took our retail sales training program, or you love construction, or you're very hands-on, or whatever it is. You may be a great fit for working at Home Depot. We connect you to the program, help you apply, facilitate communication. And basically, they have their own application process. They interview you, have you come for an in-store assessment. And then if you're eligible and you get in, then you're hired at a Home Depot, and they are trying to partner with other retail like Dollar Tree, and we are in one local IGA. They connect you with a job. You get one-on-one training for 6 to 8 weeks by their vocational coordinator, and then you get ongoing support by Ken's Crew. So it's essentially, we're just connecting people with them, and it's an opportunity to help more people find jobs. So it's been a great partnership. We've had actually about 18 individuals be placed in jobs through Ken's Crew since 2018. And this is Doug and his job, and Drew. So for those who have an interest in this area, it's been a great fit, and we've seen a lot of independence over time with this service. And then lastly, but most comprehensively, are our individual employment services. So I mentioned it before. These are literally all the services you would need to find a job that's well matched to you, keep your job, and continuously learn. These are our newest services, the most important. These are why we were given a grant in 2017 mostly. It's all for finding all the services you need to find an individualized job. So basically we have, I'm going to go through, we have our placement services. So you've done discovery. We know what you do well. We know what kind of job you're looking for. We're going to start with job development. And this is a pretty high level of support to find a job. We're going to tailor our approach to you. This sometimes involves, partnering with an employer and negotiating a job on your behalf. Sometimes it involves creating a job for you that doesn't already exist. That's often what is called customized employment. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. While the job search is going on, you're engaging in job search skills. So you're practicing skills like interviewing, disclosure, just different professional skills throughout that period. And then once you get a job, we call these career transition services. We provide pretty high level of support for your first 3 months. We're going to train, we're going to practice your transportation to get there, whether it's using door-to-door transportation through MyRide, paratransit services, or using the public bus or Uber or whatever it is. We are going to help you learn to acclimate to the work environment, build relationships, learn the routine, learn all those unwritten rules, learn your job, all of that kind of stuff. And then we also, you're getting career advisement throughout. We're also doing employer training. So when we partner with an employer for the first time, we are kind of doing this. We're meeting with them and we're educating them on what we do and who we serve and strategies and all those things. Okay, and then a quick word on customized employment. So we do have a whole nother workshop from July 2022 on this approach, but basically it's recognized by the Department of Labor. You can even read about it on the state of Connecticut's Department of Developmental Services website. So basically it's this idea of taking the needs of a job seeker, our students, and an employer, and coming together to often create a job, or carve a job maybe that didn't exist. So this is a very in-depth process. You know, you need a lot of trust with a business, but basically you sit down with them, you learn about their needs, and maybe I have a couple examples, but we have this person, David, who really good affinity for cars. He did discovery washing cars. He's very observant. It was like his dream to work with cars. So we met a small business, local auto mechanic, and he always wanted to offer car washing as a service, but he's just really small. But he wants to start washing cars for customers after they get maintenance, but he also gets cars and sells them, and really wanted to build the sales part of his business. So we actually helped him calculate, okay, how much could you add on for a car wash? And that could pay David's salary, and he can do that for you. And it's like an added value to his business. It helps bring customers in, etc. And essentially, long story short, we created a job for David that didn't exist, and it was tailored to his skills, but really met that need of that employer. So it's a recognized model and approach that you take, and it's very common, becoming more commonly used for people with disabilities. And we don't use it for all people. It really depends on the level of support someone might need, their unique needs, and we might use it if like the traditional way of job searching just isn't working, or maybe the person has really, really specific skills or interests. And like, you know, you read job descriptions and you just like, maybe they could do 25% of that, but they probably really couldn't, you know, you really have to carve out a job. So oftentimes it's about job creation. So please go look at our workshop about customized employment, but it is something we are really becoming experts in. And then also, and then I'll show you some more examples. We have our retention services. So we do ongoing employer education, you know, maybe a new supervisor comes in, or new team members or whatever. We're always maintaining that relationship and working with the employer. We provide, so even if you know your job well, you might need some check-ins or job coaching still. So we provide those services. Again, you still have career advisement. So maybe a problem comes up or whatever it is. You want to take vacation, you don't know how, the career advisement is there. And then we do ongoing progress reviews. So you're constantly having those career management team meetings throughout the service. And we can often apply a state budget for these services, and anytime there's job coaching involved. And these are just some examples of some jobs we found for individuals. We have Seth. He works at a business called Lumia America. They're a eyeglass manufacturer. In the middle, Seth at Dogtopia, working with the dogs. Brenna at Defib Tech, they make the defibrillators, the AED machines. She tests them. Abby works at Black Horse Equestrian Farm. Actually, I think 4 of these 6 are customized jobs. David at Lions Auto in the middle, and Carl at Edge of the Woods on the right. So we've just some examples of people who have gone through our entire model and they're all still in these jobs today. Some more examples here of people doing discovery to help us understand what kind of jobs they are good at. And then just a final note on our business and community relations. Here's Catherine on the left with our job developer, Abby, and some of our supervisors, basically just to share the point that we're always working to build partnerships and develop opportunities for our individuals. So even across services and programs like Beardsley Zoo, we share that site with ASAT, or Downtown Evening Soup Kitchen, our day program works with them as well. So we're always trying to broaden our partnerships and network. And these are some, benefits of an inclusive workplace that we talk to employers about. And we really want to partner with them on our shared mission. And research shows these benefits, and we've seen it firsthand. So we really try to share with employers, like, this will foster a culture of belonging. You'll see more retention, higher morale, things like that. Often, like in the automotive example, it'll improve your bottom line, your profits. So these are a lot of things that we talk to employers about. And these are more of our current employer partnerships. I mentioned a lot of them. We are always working to establish more tailored to the individual. So we don't just, have these employers and only consider these for job. We're always looking, and we have the individual, we lead with the individual. So where's their area of interest or skills, and we're going to pursue that. And if someone reaches out, or we're cultivating a relationship and we don't have any current needs, we're connecting them with other programs or other services at Chapel Haven, because we always want to work with new partners. Okay, and just to start to wrap up, I just wanted to mention that CareerAbility is an optional program. So I think it's clear we're separate from residential programs, but we work very closely with all the other departments. But it is a choice to work with us. You don't have to, but most all students do. Many of the programs, work-based learning, group volunteer, group supported employment that I mentioned, are included in tuition for a full-time student. A good rule of thumb is typically like one-on-one services are almost always for a fee. And we can and will apply a state budget whenever possible. In the admissions packet, you get a whole breakdown of that about our services. And of course, if we're not a fit for you, our career advisors will help connect you to other providers. We never hesitate to do that. And sometimes even people get a job on their own and then call us up, and they just ask if we can provide them with job coaching at an hourly rate or something like that. So we can individualize services for you depending on your circumstances. And I mentioned a lot of these, but we do help connect you with benefits counseling if needed. We have a benefits coordinator here at Chapel Haven. We will refer you to our scholarship committee if possible, or other state services. We provide employer training. We do a lot of professional development for our staff as well. At this time, we just don't assist with unemployment benefits. We typically refer out for this if someone's on unemployment and needs help managing that.
So Sarah, I'm gonna
Yeah, I'm done.
I think that's an awesome presentation. And when you put all those Workplace Wednesday posts up, it's just so impressive to me. And we talk about that we're in 15 of the 16 US Department of Labor clusters, but you really can see it when you look at it, visually, that our students and our adults and community members are employed across the region. And so it's awesome. I just wanted to leave a couple minutes in case anybody had a question. So you can put your question.
Yes, please do.
Chat, and we'll and maybe we can unshare so we can kind of see.
Oh, sure.
Does anybody have a question?
Can we get a copy of this?
Yes, so that's part of the recording. Is we will send you the link once it records to the cloud. Sounds very fancy, but and then I'll send you a link. So
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions from any of our? Yes, Trish.
Hi, thank you so much, Sarah. That
Trish.
was amazing and so much information. that
I know it is a lot of
I
information,
had
but thank
swimming a
you.
little bit, but it's amazing. Amazing. And if your child is just starting out in Reach, is this program, do people reach out to one's parents or child to say, oh, you know what, you may want to think about this? Or am I just supposed to guess, oh, you know, she might really benefit from this? Or that's
Great,
not.
great question. No, great question. So you shouldn't have to do anything. We should, a career development advisor should be at the initial meeting. So the 45-day or the 6-month, whichever one hasn't happened. Sometimes, sometimes teachers might forget to invite us or whatever. If someone is not there from CareerAbility, just be like, where's CareerAbility? And ensure that we're involved, because the whole point is to get involved at that stage. And we start, all right, what are your goals? Let's look at what it said in your week visit evaluation. Let's map out a plan for you. And you shouldn't have any question marks. So we should be there. So if we're not, just request it of the teacher.
Thank you
But
so much.
I think that the CareerAbility gets more central and comes into play in the second year or then after graduation. Am I right?
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And a lot of our second years do the work-based learning, but everyone is different. So we have worked with people in their first year. It really just depends. I'm sure you see the transition for some people, it's like plenty just to get used to Reach, for their first 6 months or something. So, but everyone's different.
Other questions?
Thanks again. One clarification, you said 93% for 12 months and 91% for 12 months and 93% for 3 months.
Yes, I did. Let me go back and look.
And there are
And it's on
22
our-
staff and 100 clients.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, 93% retained for at least 90 days, 91% have retained beyond 1 year.
That's terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's hard to really put into words what we used to do, which was not so good. I mean, we just would find whatever job we could, and it was a lot of beggars and not meaningful in any sense, just trying to find people employment, which we're not alone. Nonprofits working in this field have struggled with employment, but it's hard to really describe how much progress CareerAbility has made. But the fact that we're working with 100 people and that they're staying on the job and they love the job and the employer loves them, it's all of these slides we just saw as the lead up to really, I think, a home run in terms of employment. So
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Sarah and her team for an awesome
you.
job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's great work. Well, thank you guys. I hope to work with all of you. We hope to see you soon. So thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you too. And
Thank
I'll send you a link and
Okay.
follow up.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Good night,
Good night.
everyone.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Thanks.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.